Welcome aspirants. Today we are going to study about drought-prone area development program, and this is a part of regional planning in geography optionals. Let's start. Drought-prone area development program. This was introduced in the fourth five-year plan, and this plan is also called as specific area approach plan. Actually, the drought-prone area means this plan was introduced to ensure regional planning in the areas which are vulnerable to drought, and the program was all about to address all those specific problems which are occurring in this fragile area. Overall, it covers 972 blocks in 182 districts. Drought prone area program or the drought prone areas, they are mostly characterized by cattle and humans, and both these cattle and humans are putting excessive pressure on the resources like food, fodder, etc., and that is leading to the soil erosion, removal of vegetation, and depletion of groundwater. All these things are compounding the problems of drought prone areas. So let us see what exactly are the objectives of drought prone area program. First is dryland farming. That means growing those crops that can survive in those regions which receive very low amount of rainfall, and that includes millets, pulses, etc. So this could be the component of dryland farming. Next point is proper management of water resources through traditional methods. When we are talking about traditional methods, that means we had to go for johards. Johad is a local term that is used in Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh. Apart from that, you can use floods in Maharashtra, where the reliance is more on the local water conservation. Next is soil conservation through stubble mulching. Or mulching is a practice of laying organic plant waste or compost on bare land so as to reduce the soil erosion or prevent the soil from degradation. Another is afforestation by social and agroforestry methods, development of livestock, pasture and fodder. Government was planning or government was encouraging farmers to shift to livestock based economy rather than on the crop based economy, so that they can rely more on cattle rearing, as cattle rearing is a practice that is very suitable for semi dry and arid areas. And overall, the funding that was decided was 50 to 50 ratio, that is center and states both will born 50-50 amount until 1990, but post 1990 they have decided that this funding contribution would be changed to 75 to 25 ratio. Okay, look at this map. You can see there are few areas that are vulnerable to drought or the drought prone areas, like you see Rajasthan wala part, some parts of Gujarat like Kutch, and this Malwa plateau which includes Jhabua, and this Bundelkhand region includes Jhansi, Chitrakoot, etc. Another is this southern part of Odisha, which you know about Kalahandi, Koraput, the districts which are also considered as one of the poorest in India. So this map shows you all those areas where drought prone area program was implemented across the India. Let's see some of the components of drought prone area program. Soil and water conservation along with land development. Yes, water conservation was very important, and one such example of this was Pani Panchayat model. Pani Panchayat model that was very famous in the districts of Satara, where locals were conserving the water in local ponds. Next was water resource development. In this sandbags, or what we can say bories, these sandbags have been placed across the rivers so that it can slow down the flow of water and can reduce the soil erosion. Next is afforestation and pasture development. This has been done on large scale, especially in the districts of Jodhpur and Bikaner, and this practice is called as silvipastoralist. Technological innovations and technological adaptation like contour budding, check dams, furrow budding and mulching is done. Another is simultaneous cropping of fodder and pasture. In this, what they can grow is means a couple of crops like maize, barley. These are the crops that can also be called as fodder crops. So these are to be grown in combination with the other food related crops, like you can grow wheat and maize, or you can also grow pulses in between the wheat. Agroforestry and horticulture, this was focused on, and especially cities like Banaskantha, Sabarkantha, these became the popular ones because of dairy farming and horticulture, sheep husbandry, etc. Restructuring of cropping pattern and changes in agriculture practices. Restructuring of cropping pattern, that means mixed crop that we have to grow. Especially earlier, what the farmers were doing, they were growing those crops which requires intensive amount of water in the arid areas. So guar, moong, these have replaced the traditional wheat and mustard in many of the regions of Rajasthan. And yes, especially the agriculture practices, you cannot ignore these, because recently you know about system of rice intensification. This is the agriculture practice which have lately been introduced. This conserves a lot of water and reduces the requirement of water. Earlier, rice was cultivated in the waterlogging areas, and that was also squandering and wasting a lot of amount of water. Development of subsidiary occupation, that means promoting the self-help groups for women so that they can engage themselves in embroidery, pottery, and some other alternative livelihoods. Okay, so these all were the components of drought prone area development program. What are the outcomes and what are the problems? Just see it. Outcomes, yes, the program was successful in creating some of the durable public assets, but it was not as encouraging as it was desired. And the committee was set up under the Hanumanta Rao, and this high technical committee was to review all the development programs. The result was that the committee has decided that we need to introduce the watershed development approach so that people's participation can be encouraged in these activities. So what are the problems? Problem was, the first was that implementation has been sectoral and spatially dispersed. That means the implementation has been carried out in different multiple areas like agriculture, livestock, water management, soil conservation. So in this manner, they are engaged in multiple sectors plus spatially dispersed. Yes, not only this, but state governments have already their own programs which were specific to the drought prone areas. So there was a lack of coordination and monitoring. Lack of coordination and monitoring was a major problem in this, plus the inadequate funds. Yes, as the funds released by the central government was meager, so it was not sufficient to meet the needs of all the drought prone areas. And yes, the last is low people participation. As you know, people were unaware, people were poor, and because there were not much means of communication available so that the scheme can be reached out to the large masses, so that is why the people did not participate, and lack of participation of people was one of the major hindrances in making the scheme successful. So all these points are related to drought prone area program. I hope you have got the idea. Thank you and have a nice day.